More on this issue, I'm joined by Ding Yifan, who is the Deputy Director of the Institute of World Development under the State Council Development Research Center, joining us from Beijing. Good to see you, sir. Welcome to the show.
Oh, good.
It's a one-year anniversary.
Yes.
That's a pretty big deal. There was a lot of fanfare and a lot of hoopla made about this big free trade zone. So the question is, did it live up to all the expectations?
Oh, it's difficult to say because it's still only too early to say that we reached. So given the recent foreign companies in the couple of last months, how the number is increasing very fast. So we can expect reasonably the next year that we will make big progress. I think the free trade zone is so far considered as a success.
Okay, I mean, it seems like a success because, number one, we're talking about it. Number two, you're going to open it up to more industries as well, because previously it was limited to just a few different industries. So if we try to look forward for the next 12 months, how do you think investors around the world will react to the opening up of all these new industries inside that zone?
I think the guiding principle of Shanghai Free Trade Zone only for each sectors of investment according to a negative list. So if we look at the details of the negative list, last year we published a negative list much longer than this year. So we are revising this kind of negative list every year. List being reduced. It shows that government will try to liberalize sectors of investment, and we try to manage the effect of this control, because you have to try to find ways to control all these sectors after the liberalization of these sectors.
I mean, you bring up a very good point, because I think for a lot of our viewers around the world, they may not perhaps be that knowledgeable about how the politics of China works in terms of business, but you want to have control, but at the same time, you want to have sort of that freedom where investors can still make investments and there can be free trade. And look, I don't want to criticize any of that. All I'm asking is that if it's working, why not expand it to even more areas within China? I mean, I think that would be a natural step to take next, wouldn't it?
Yes, I think that Shanghai Free Trade Zone is only a testing point, that if it's under control or it's a successful, Chinese government will try to spread these kind of experimental cases to other cities. Now we have more than 10 cities on the waiting list. So reasonably, we think that maybe next year or in a couple of next years, more cities will join the list of free trade zone.
So one of the
we may create other free trade zones.
Well, one of the criticisms of the free trade zone is that it's free, and I mean free as in tax-free for like commodities and other goods that come in and out. And I guess that's a good thing if you live near the area, because you potentially could be buying and selling goods basically tax-free. I mean, at least that's what the critics are saying. Are they right?
Oh, you cannot criticize the free trade zone as a free port, because free trade zone is supposed to provide more facilities or to facilitate international trade for companies. According to statistics of customers, we should say that it's a success because we reduce more than 40% of these trading blocks. So we raised international trade efficiency in these free trade zones.
What do you think, for the foreign investors around the world, that they worry about a lot of things, and one of the things that this free trade zone does is reduce a lot of the red tape. So I wanted to ask you, what's been the response from international companies? I mean, if they're expecting red tape and they don't get the red tape, I mean, they must be, I'm assuming they're quite happy about that.
If you look at the foreign firms' enthusiasm about the Shanghai Free Trade Zone, we should say that most of them wanted to invest into this free trade zone recently. They waited a little at the beginning. It's normal because they don't know really the details of the negative list. But so far, since the last couple of months, they get very enthusiastic about investment in this free trade zone because they think that next year there will be more investment opportunities, and then they will get easier access to Chinese capital markets.
We said earlier the 27 new industries that will be added. Is there one industry that you're most excited about?
Oh, it's difficult to say what kind of industries will be very welcome in this free trade zone. But anyway, I think that at the beginning, some people think that Shanghai Free Trade Zone could be a center for international finance activities. But so far, the zone is called Free Trade Zone. So even the financial liberalization is only focused on international trade. So to this regard, I think that we made a lot of progress to facilitate the international financing of the international trade.
All right. Ding Yifan, very good to see you. I want to thank you for your time joining us live from Beijing on the Shanghai Free Trade Zone, Deputy Director of the Institute of World Development under the State Council of Development Research Center. Thank you very much, sir.